taking responsibility for your emotions, for your life, for your actions, for your thoughts does not mean that you let everybody else walk all over you. I'm Stephanie Matthews with MagicalMothering.com, and good morning. So this morning is really all about, hey Jennifer, yay, good morning everybody. Welcome. So as we kind of explore what does taking responsibility mean, and how do you actually implement boundaries, how do you actually release control, and how do you make it all work? So this is a really exciting aspect. I've been actually getting some private messages about this, so I wanted to just address it in a Facebook Live, because if one person is wondering what's going on, I know there's other people who have the same questions of like, okay, if I'm taking responsibility for my own stuff, but people are still being jerks for me, how do I deal with that? So yes, let's focus, let's pay attention to that. So last night, we actually did a session in the 90 Days to Remembering Your Magical Self that was really all about learning how to release, learning how to make sure that your needs are filled, learning how to create the space to really be in this state of mind. But for those of you that are not in that group yet, I'm hoping that you will join in. But for now, this is where looking at not just our boundaries, because boundaries is one of those like sticky subjects of like, I have great boundaries, but maybe it's because you're totally blocking yourself. Like, I believe to have amazing boundaries, you should have an open heart. You should be open and accepting. And sometimes in order to have boundaries, what do? We have to literally like block ourselves. We have to protect our hearts. We have to like keep our head focused and in, and like this tightness of boundaries can really create such an exhausting effect on us, rather than this open, expansive, energetic boundary. So I want to talk about energy for a moment. So energy is one of those things that is the unseen around us. This is the thing that you can walk into a room and feel like, you know how you like that expression of like you could cut the air with a knife. This is that energetic aspect where you see certain people and you just know like, oh gosh, they're so draining. Or you see somebody and they're like uplifting. That is that energy exchange. And this energy exchange is what we actually need to focus on so that we're not getting pulled down and depleted by trying to protect ourselves. So I talk a lot about inner child and coping skills that we've learned as children, and we still implement them as adults. Like the things that we learned as a 3-year-old, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, we're still trying to implement those as grown women. And it doesn't work because we're grown women. And the way that we thought about things as a child is not the way to deal with life now. We don't just need to try to please everybody. There's literally ice falling on my head right now. This is crazy. So, sorry for the interruption from the ice coming down from around me. So as we really get clear about what are the coping skills that you're using right now to make these boundaries, are you, a lot of times, like one thing that I did all the time was when I learned to stop blaming and taking responsibility for my emotions, is I would just have to try to like imagine a brick wall. I'm like, there's a brick wall and his emotions or his words can't hurt me. Obviously, all the energy that I was putting up to create this brick wall, to protect myself, to like stay in I'm only in control of my thoughts, right? It just took so much effort to do all of these tools at first. until I learned the energetics. And if I stay and open up and heal, really heal, and we were working on releasing. There's been a lot of memories that have been coming up. I know this new moon had a big effect on a lot of people with just feeling really off and not knowing how to move forward. And this is how you move forward. You look at how your energetic body is feeling. You look at what is it that you're putting out? What is it that you're receiving? Is there more of this shutting down happening? Are you able to really open up and feel loving and expansive? And maybe that's not where you're at right now, but that's an important thing to know in your energetic body. If your energetic body is not open and expansive and wanting to like play with everybody, then it's not a matter of blocking. It's not a matter of building up these walls around yourself. It's a matter of pouring more into yourself. Pouring more into who you are. This was a big thing that we learned last night, that if you're going to do anything for somebody else, you have to be able to do it for yourself as well. And to pour into yourself so that you have the energy, so that you have that beautiful energetic body that is loving and accepting, not of what other people are giving you, but loving and accepting of yourself. Because this is where that energy comes from. This energy to handle the things outside of yourself. Because I've talked a lot about we cannot control anybody but ourselves. It doesn't mean we have to accept their behavior. This is a big one, and I even teach it to my littles. My kids, I've always taught them that nobody can make them feel a certain way. They know this. If anybody tells them, you made me mad, they go, I didn't make you mad. You made yourself mad because of what I did. This is how they say it. They understand that nobody can make you angry. Nobody can make you feel anything. This is the way that you reacted to what happened. So it's the same thing with our energetic body. Nobody can come into our energetic body unless we allow it. So this is difficult with children, right? And spouses, because we want them in our energetic bodies. But when it comes to our kids, you can either allow it or not. There's a lot of times that Hello everybody. So there's a lot of times that my kids will do something and my husband and I will have completely different reactions to what they're doing. Whereas I see that they're upset because of an unfilled need that they have and they're expressing their emotions, my husband sees it as disrespectful. So this is where our energetic bodies are very different, where I'm not getting offended. My energetic body is not getting offended by their behavior. So how is it that we can learn how to not get offended by other people's actions, behaviors, words, is by building ourselves up. Knowing that we are worthy of being treated a certain way and not controlling others to get that behavior from them, but not accepting it either, or looking at it with a clear and different perspective. If my kids are upset and angry and they're yelling, I realize it actually has nothing to do with me. This is huge. If other people are having outbursts, it has nothing to do with you. Our ego likes to think that everything is about us. Everything is about us. And it's not about us at all. This is what is amazing. When we forget that the world and everybody in it is not us, things begin to shift very rapidly. If somebody is upset or somebody wants to sabotage themselves or our husbands are making decisions that might affect us, we have to realize that they are not us. And this is really valuable because you save and you can gather and you can get so much energy from just releasing them. You're not allowing it in your space, but you are releasing them and allowing them to have their own experience. So I'm going to give you an example of how I do this with my own children. So say they're having a big experience, they're feeling very upset, they're angry, they might yell, and we allow emotions in our house. Emotions happen, but emotions in the moment. If things happened in the past and they're getting like rehashed, then we experience them in that moment when they came up, and then they're released. Like, this is really crucial. If things keep coming up to the surface from the past, they need to be felt fully so that they can be released and not keep coming to the surface. It is not normal to feel emotions from 20 years ago. It's not. It is normal to feel the emotions of the present moment, go through them, and then be done. So with my kids, when they have a big emotional reaction and they're feeling big emotions, I realize that it's not about me. And I do have to tell my brain this. Like, I have to tell my ego. I have to remind my little ego and my inner child, hey, this isn't about you. Play a game, find out what they need, and then I'm able to connect with them without pushing them away going, oh, this is scary, they don't like me, or they're angry, they're having emotions, I'm gonna have emotions. I don't have emotions because of other people's emotions anymore. I can be empathic and I can feel intuitively into what's going on, but I don't have to feel their emotions anymore. So I allow them to have their emotions and their experience, and I look for the need underneath those emotions and experiences, or sometimes just hold space for that. And then guess what? They get over it really quickly. And I do too, because it's not mine to hold on to. If I am holding on to their emotions and going, you got angry earlier today and you made a big fit and now we didn't get to do this because of it, and hold emotional reactions over their heads, that's how grudges are formed. That's how grudges are learned. This is how resentment is learned. This is how guilt and shame are learned. We need to stop passing down these traits and pass down being in the moment, being present, feeling emotions fully, and showing our children how it's done, and allowing them to reteach us, if you have little enough ones, how this process is done. So if you want to learn more of these tools, real tools that help shift and transform and change your life and get out of this cycle of generational themes, of resentment, of anger, of guilt, of these big emotions, of no boundaries, learning how to take responsibility for your life and so others aren't affecting your life all the time, please PM me. Let's get you hooked up with the 90 Days to Remembering Your Magical Self, and let's get your magical life started. It's not just about healing. It's not just about learning these tools. It's about being your magical self, living your magical life, and sharing the gifts that you were meant to come to this world to share. Putting yourself out there and being the leader that I know you are. So I look forward to hearing from you. PM me after this Facebook Live, and I will talk to you soon. Peace and blessings.